Are you ready? Stand by.
Welcome, everybody, to the Three Gun Show. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, and this week's special guest is Riley Kropff, not a junior anymore, Riley Kropff. Riley just turned 18 a few months ago, and we decided to do an episode on navigating Three Gun as a junior shooter. Some advice from someone who was just there, and the podcast turned out really well. Riley did an amazing job. And I think you're really going to enjoy this one, especially if you are a junior or if you have juniors that are interested in the sport. One thing I want to talk about before we get going here is I just did a final video for the Texas Three Gun Championship. It's a wrap-up video. I'm calling it the Aftermatch Report, and I know you're going to like it. But you got to look at it on the YouTubes. I was going to put the audio on the podcast here, but it is so visual. I took a lot of time doing this, several days of editing and everything, and I think it turned out really good. I'm proud of it, and I think you're going to enjoy it as well. So I'm going to put a link in the show notes at threegunshow.com. There's also going to be an article there that you can go and check out, but it's just on YouTube. So just go to youtube.com/c/threegunshow, or just go there, type Three Gun Show. You're smart. You can figure it out. All right, now enjoy this episode with Riley Kropff. Starting, and we're live, buddy. What do you think?
Oh, man, we're live. This is real.
Welcome, everybody, to the Three Gun Show. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, and with me today is Riley Kropff.
What's up?
It's good to see you, man. Thanks for coming by.
I'm glad to be here.
It's good to have you here. You started talking quiet when we went live.
I don't know about that. You just haven't asked any questions yet, that's all.
Yeah, but you went like this. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Really good to see you.
Hey, guys. It's great to see y'all. Is that better?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is better. So if you're watching this on the YouTubes right now, you're watching live with us, ask questions and feel free to comment and everything, and we'll get to your questions when the time is appropriate. But we're here to talk about Riley Kropff. But should we tell people what the afternoon's been like here?
The afternoon has been a bit noisy, to say the least.
Chaotic,
a little bit. Yeah.
Comment and everything. Yeah. So Riley shows up to my house to record in the studio here, and he says, "Is there a party going on?" I'm like, "Nah, it's just a lot of people live on this street, a lot of cars." We come out to the garage to...
Hold on. By a lot of cars, it's not just your average, 10 cars on the street or something like that. I had to fight for a parking space to get to your house. I'm parked 3 houses down.
Yeah. Well, so you're a normal person, and around here, most people just park in the grass. Not kidding.
Next time I'll just pull up in your front yard and be like, "What's up, Dave?"
Yeah. You could probably do that, and... No one would even notice. You wouldn't even look weird. But yeah, so you had to park down the street because there actually is a party going on, and they have a band playing.
They do. It's some pretty stellar ranchero music, if I
it's
say.
a Mexican restaurant cover band. Yeah, so if you hear any horns or I don't even know what the other instruments are, guitars.
What's the guy riding on the bicycle? What's he?
Oh, the ice cream man.
The ice cream man has come by a few times.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's where I live. Live in an amazing place.
I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. So yeah, we're deep in it right now in Austin.
We sure are. That's for sure.
But we're gonna persevere and do the podcast. So yeah, if you hear ranchero music in the background, it's because there's ranchero music in the background.
I think we should call them Dos Amigos or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
2 amigos, maybe.
There's way more than 2. There was 5 when I was over there.
That's Cinco Amigos.
Cinco Amigos.
That's what we're gonna call them.
Yeah, and I just before we got started here, I either negotiated to borrow my neighbor's lawnmower or pay him to have my lawn mowed. I can't remember exactly, or actually, I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, you said you were going to get cash ready just in case.
Just in case.
You did contract out someone to mow your yard.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll work out. It'll be okay.
In one way or another.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about Three Gun.
Let's do it.
So Riley,
why are you laughing at me already? I didn't do anything.
Riley, we've known each other for a while now.
Yes, we have.
I found out something interesting. When did you start shooting a 3-gun?
I started shooting 3-gun in March of 2015.
Which was a month before I started the show.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Time flies.
I know. When did you discover the 3-gun show?
I didn't start listening to it until, let's see, it was, I think it was like middle of last year maybe, because I was working.
Really?
Because one of my jobs was I would clean like this office building. So like they built this building next to the Dell Diamond, which I work at the Dell Diamond now. But they built this.
What is the Dell Diamond?
It's where the Round Rock Express plays baseball, the AAA team for the Astros. But they built this, so like the Nolan Ryan Foundation or whatever owns like the Dell Diamond, Nolan Ryan Beef, and a few other things like that. So they built this building for Nolan Ryan Beef, and they hired some other company to come in and rent out the other space, I guess. And so I was the cleaning crew. So I would go and I would clean for it. It took me 2 hours to clean the whole building every night. So for 2 hours, I was listening to the 3-gun show. So that's how.
Oh, no kidding.
That's how I found out about it. I was like, man, like I keep listening to the same playlist over and over. Like what's new? And then like I guess I came across you somehow. I don't recall how, but then that's what I would listen to every night.
Huh.
Eventually, after a long time, I have now listened to every episode.
Really?
It took a long time.
Oh, my God. Dude, some guy hit me up on Instagram the other day, or it was actually yesterday, and said that he only has 240 episodes to catch up, and we're on 245. I was like, oh, my God. You might want to cherry pick at this point.
Yeah. I started to cherry pick. Like I would go through and save the ones I wanted to listen to, and then I'd just go through the saved list, and then I was like, all right, I got to start listening to other ones now, and then I'd start from the beginning. So then I was all out of order, and it took a long time.
None of it made sense?
Yeah, no. It was all out of order.
So the 3-gun show, you started listening to the 3-gun show. It's interesting. That's like how I became like into podcasts. Was I worked at a job where same thing. I was listening to the same playlist over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I liked having earbuds in because the people that I worked with weren't the greatest conversationalists.
Yeah.
And we kind of worked in a shop, so you have to have like earplugs in or something, so earbuds just worked out well.
Yeah.
And I discovered podcasts through that, and that was like 2005. So just loved them ever since and decided, hey, I want to start my own podcast.
There you go.
I'll start about 3-gun.
Do it. What'd you say? You said you want to start one about 3-gun. Did you say that, or did I miss something here?
That was me in the past. Yes, I wanted to start one about 3-gun.
Okay. What are we doing now? You're like staring at me intently. What are we talking about now?
Same topic as before, man.
Which
this is a safe place.
What's the topic?
3-gun.
What do we want to talk about? The very beginning.
So, Riley, this is a conversation. You may not be familiar with the show.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm not.
Let me explain to you how the show goes.
Okay, all right.
Since you're new.
Yeah.
So we talk.
Yeah.
Someone says something, and then you say something back.
All right.
And then we just kind of keep doing that.
Okay. I said the last word. That means it's your turn. I said okay. It's your turn.
Okay.
Oh my God. You said okay this time. Okay. You know what, Dave?
So let's talk about 3-gun. So we just mentioned that you started 3-gun 2015.
Yeah.
March 2015.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? How did you do that?
So
how did you hear about 3-gun?
So my dad, he was actually a police officer in Duncanville, where we used to live.
Where's Duncanville?
South Dallas, I want to say. I think it like touches Dallas. I think it's like South Dallas. But anyways, he also taught LTC classes, license to carry. And so I went out to the range with him one day and because like help out with his class or whatever. And then after the class, I asked him if I could shoot like a mag through my gun or whatever. Because I got a Glock 19, I think my 13th birthday, I want to say.
Really?
Yeah. And so, but I only shot it like a handful of times. And so I was like, hey, can I shoot it? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I shot a few mags through it. And we were at a ETTS gun range, which is in Waxahachie. And so we came up to the office to pay afterwards. And so we're sitting down in the office, and it was Patrick, who owns the range, and Jeff Livingood, who put on matches out there at the time. And we sat down, and he was like, hey, have you ever heard about this thing called 3-gun? And my dad's exact words were, that sounds expensive. Turns out he was right. But
those are like classic dad words.
Yeah, and so they're like, well, you should come out to this 3-gun practice day tomorrow. And so my mom happened to be out of town for something, and so we were like, sure, we're not doing anything. So we came back out to the range the next day, and the the rest is history. We've been doing it ever since.
No kidding.
Yeah, I still remember so I showed up with a Remington 870 pump, 20 gauge, and my dad left the dove plug in it. He was like, I'm not taking the plug out. And I was like, what? And so I was like loading shells out of my cargo pocket. People are like, here, try these caddies. I think it was like Justin Burkhead or something. He's like, here,
they just fall through the caddies?
Oh, yeah.
It was 20 gauge?
Yeah, so like I have a picture of me in like my first 3-gun match, and I'm standing there with these like big earmuffs on, and I've got this caddy with like 20 gauge shotgun shells like spaced out like 8 inches apart, and it was rough. And then I shot my Glock, and then I borrowed an AR with an ACOG scope. Now I still like ACOG scopes. Those are pretty neat scopes.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't think I've looked through them, but I don't think I've spent a lot of time shooting them.
No, they're pretty cool. I think it's a fixed 3X.
Yeah,
it's pretty neat.
That's kind of weird though. Fixed 3X.
It's got like
to shoot something close.
It's got like a red dot thing on the top.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a dual.
So you
it's got
started and open.
Well,
with a
so they put like a scope cap on it, and we're like, all right, you're in tac ops, and I was like, okay. It's like, thanks. I'm shooting, like, it was all in a bay, so it was like I'm shooting 3X on this like paper targets in a bay. But it was fun. I had a blast. And then like 2 weekends later, they had their like monthly 3-gun match out there, so we came back out for that. And I remember, I think it was after the practice day or after the first 3-gun match, I came home. Someone let me borrow a Versamax shotgun because they were like they just took pity on me. They were like, here, like, use this. And so I was shooting it, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. Like, this is great. I can like load more than 3 rounds in it at a time. And like so I came home, and I'm like searching through like the intrawebs, and I came to my dad, and I was like, dude, I want a Versamax. And he was like, why don't you try a few more shotguns first? And I was like, no, I want a Versamax. Like, I was so stubborn, and he was like, I'm not buying you a Versamax. And so then I tried a few more shotguns, and I realized that a Versamax was not the best option out there for me at the time.
Gotcha. Good job, Dad.
Yeah, he does it a lot. He thinks big picture.
Oh yeah, and you're the details guy.
I wouldn't say really the details guy. More of like the squirrel guy. So
yeah.
I can get distracted really easy, and he just keeps me focused. Lots of yelling though. Lots of yelling.
I haven't heard your dad yell at you too much.
He kind of got to a point where he kind of like gives up on some stuff. He's just like, man, it's not worth it.
Yeah, he does a good job at like just saying your name now.
Yeah,
Riley.
He can just give me like this look, like Riley, and then he like does this thing with his eyes, and it's like either you straighten up or you're gonna die. It's like, I'll choose straighten up.
All right, it's got you trained like a dog.
Similar, yes.
Right. Okay, so you went and shot your first match. You had all the wrong gear.
Like everyone.
Right. Yeah. So let's start on that for a minute there. I hear from a lot of people that have not shot 3-gun. They're like, well, when I get this, I'll go out and do it. Yeah,
like I said, I showed up with a 20 gauge pump shotgun with a dove plug. Like, you can show up with literally anything. Like, that's like, the community's so great, and like people have talked about this on the podcast before, but like everybody is just so amazing in the community. They just let you borrow whatever because they want to see you succeed.
I think people get sucked into like major matches.
Yeah.
And they forget like club matches exist.
Yeah, like, I didn't even shoot a major match like my first year. I didn't even know major matches like existed for the first year.
Yeah, I shot one. I got like cajoled into it. It was the Colorado 3-gun championship, but it was only like a couple hours away, so I was like, oh, I better go shoot that.
Yeah.
But that was the only major match I shot for like 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was like a mini major. There's probably like 160, 170 people there, though.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that to go shoot a club match, you can use anything.
No, yeah,
especially when you're new, because like
you don't even need to show up with really hardly anything. Like, you just need to get out the door and go to a match. Like, everybody there will let you borrow whatever you need. Everyone's super generous.
Well, even if you have like you said, a Glock 19 or a pump shotgun, like that's going to be good enough to get you through a stage. It's not going to be the best stuff, but it'll work. Yeah,
it'll definitely get you in the door until you figure out what you want, and then you kind of do because I figured out what I wanted, and it was a Versamax, but it wasn't what I wanted. So when you figure out what you want, wait a little bit. Like, borrow it first, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a really good point, because there's so much stuff out there, and people go out and make a purchase, and then the first thing they do is go to the 3-gun talk forum and say, did I make the right purchase? Like, no, you're supposed to do that before you spend the money.
And then they want to defend their answer. They're like, no, like, I want that's why I bought it. And it's like, no, just do a little bit more research. Wait a little bit longer.
Yeah,
borrow it. Do something.
Take the Gene Kropff method.
Yeah. But not everyone has a Gene Kropff to tell them no. So then people go out and buy.
We can be their spiritual Gene Kropff.
There we go. Hit us up. ask us what you need, and we will tell you nothing for now.
Yeah. Well, and it's true, too, when you go out and shoot the first time. Because, one, you're going to suck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry to say it, but you will suck your first time out.
Although, I have a story for that.
Good.
So I just shot a local match. It was a falling steel match at ETCS this last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go up there Wednesday possibly, but we get there and we're like doing stuff. We shoot a little, practice a little bit. We had to go run errands, me and Patrick, like Friday. And so on the way back, he was like, man, I need a haircut. And I was like, all right. So we stop in and he gets a haircut at the barber shop. And so I'm like sitting there and he's like, you need a haircut? And I was like, sure, why not? And so like I'm like there getting a haircut on our way back to the range, and we're like talking to the barber, and he had never shot a match before, and so we convinced him to come out and shoot a match the next day at the range. And so
cool.
So it was like we got our barber to go shoot a a falling steel match. So he showed up and we like let him borrow one of the JP PCCs we had out there, and I say this, I'm 100% serious. I'm pretty sure he missed 3 rounds the whole match. He was really slow, like moving and everything.
Well, PCC's different.
Yeah, but like still, he didn't. I shot PCC and I missed like 50% of the shots I took because I was going way too fast. But
it's true.
But he like was so accurate, and I was like, wow, you need to come back and shoot some more. Just speed up your movements, and you're gonna start winning.
But that's like the basis of the game is accuracy, and then you can get the speed from there.
And he was pretty good at that accuracy thing.
I don't see how that counteracts my point that I was making earlier. You just shit all over, but
man, I'm sorry. Hey, he showed up with nothing. We gave him something. There we go. Mm-hmm. We let him borrow the PCC.
Did he win the match?
No, he didn't. He was really slow with the movements and transitions and stuff,
right.
But he was just super accurate.
Right.
We were blown away. I was like, yeah, this is his first match, and they're like, what?
I feel like PCC is like completely different though.
All right.
Falling steel PCC.
You know what? Listen. Okay, I'm just saying he was accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I missed like a million shots.
So how did your progression go in 3 gun? So you started shooting club matches. You didn't shoot a major for your first year. When did you decide to shoot a major? When did you first hear about that there were major matches?
Actually, it might have been like half a year or so into shooting. Like all I knew was just like the local range that we were going to was ETTS, and they happened to host a match, like a major match. It wasn't like a really, really big major, but it was like a Chris Kyle like foundation match or something like that. So I went to that, and there were a lot of I would consider it a major match. There were a lot of pros and stuff there, and that was like my first major match, and then I didn't shoot one for a while after that. But I think my next major was probably maybe a year after I started shooting, but I didn't. Looking back on it, I feel like I could have progressed like a lot quicker than what I did. I was like really stagnant for a while. So like I'd go to the range and wouldn't like really work on anything. Like I'd like go and like hang out with friends or whatever from the range and just like run like just little drills or something like that. But like I didn't dry fire or anything like that. Like I came home one day and I was like, Dad, like 3 gun's cool, but like I can't practice at home. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I was like, I want to like pull triggers and stuff. And he's like, do it like without ammo. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, go dry fire, like work on your draws and stuff like that. And so he went and he had like an airsoft gun, like a 1911 airsoft gun in the garage. And so like we set up paper targets out back, and I would like work on drills out back and stuff like that. And so after that, because like I played baseball for probably like the first I played baseball for probably 13 years, and we had like a net out in the backyard and everything. So I was like, I can't practice like I can for baseball with shooting. And so then that's when he kind of introduced me to like practicing at home. But then,
that's pretty cool.
But I didn't really like stick with it like I should have for probably like the
just
first.
Like do it once, you're like, oh, that was neat.
Yeah, like I looking back on it, I'm like kind of mad at myself. I'm like, dang, like those first year and a half, 2 years, like you just wasted. Like I didn't like quad load it or anything at home, like maybe here and there, but it wasn't anything like I do now. It's probably like probably like the beginning of 2018, end of 2017 was when I probably started dry firing and stuff like that, like hard, like every day for at least some amount of time.
What made you decide to do that?
Actually, so that was when it was after we moved, and we moved down here. And we're waiting on our house to be built. So we were actually living in a trailer next to the Dell Diamond. There's like this trailer park next to the Dell Diamond. And so we were living in a trailer for a few months. I don't know how long, but I remember I started dry firing in that trailer, and it was because of 2 reasons. Number 1 was the 3-gun show, and number 2, no, because that's when I was cleaning the building. Was when we were living in the trailer. So I was listening to the 3-gun show, and these people are talking about dry fire. And then another one was Shotgun World Shoot was coming up, and so I actually originally signed up for Shotgun World Shoot. I ended up not going. I backed out of it, and Dakota and a few other people that I talked to that went to Shotgun World Shoot, they were practicing every day and stuff like that. So then that's when I really started dry firing, was when we were in the trailer. And then when we moved into the house, I've just been dry firing since.
Mm-hmm. So was that a case of everyone you knew was dry firing?
Yeah, it
so
was kind of
like I should be doing it too?
Yeah, almost. It was man, people are practicing at home. This is a real thing. And so then I was all right. So then I just would try it. At first, it was I'd see a drill on Instagram or something of someone loading 8 and shooting something. And so I was I want to beat that time. So then I'd go set my par time at home and see if I can get it that fast. And then it just grew from there. It evolved, and I started dry firing different stuff, working on stuff. And then ultimately I started actually dry firing. And that was probably when I saw one of the biggest jumps in my shooting. Was there were a few times I saw jumps in my shooting, and that was one of the bigger ones. Was when I started practicing at home.
Mm-hmm. What are the other times?
So the rifle has always been a big issue for me. I borrowed a rifle for a really long time, and then we built a Frankenstein rifle, and then I was actually sponsored by a local company at first, and then we were just having issues with the rifle just 24/7. So when I finally got on with JP, it was probably November of 2017. I got on with JP, and I got a reliable rifle, and then that's when I got on with JP, it jumped another bit because I didn't have to worry about the rifle going down on me anymore.
That's a clear malfunction.
Yeah, exactly. I could actually trust the zero and stuff like that. So when I could actually start practicing with it and not every time I go to the range I'm working on it, then I saw another jump there. It was, I don't know.
Yeah, good. Well, yeah, so we talked about starting with whatever you have, but then good gear does really make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes the difference in the confidence of knowing I'm not gonna have to worry about malfunctions. My zero is where it needs to be.
Absolutely.
I don't have to sit there and chase the targets around thinking okay, where did the scope move this time?
Yeah, and then it was actually after the Vortex Shooter Source last year. I got so Jake Latola and who finished first at that match?
Daniel Jurassic.
Daniel Jurassic and Jake Latola were both sponsored by Vortex at the time. And I didn't have a Vortex scope on my gun, but I had wanted a Vortex scope really bad. And so they both knew that, and they both kind of got together, and they're all right, you don't get the Vortex scope, I don't get the Vortex scope, we're going to let Riley get it. But it was the most expensive thing on the prize table. And they both passed it up, which was really cool. And I ended up getting the Vortex scope, and I mounted it on my rifle. And then that's when I saw another progression in my long-range shooting was when I got a really nice scope on my rifle.
Wow,
and I was holy cow, this eye box is huge. And then I was look at the glass. And then I saw another jump in my shooting there. So it was probably the progression with training more and getting that better, more high-quality gear, so to say. And then I ran that Vortex. I like running stuff that I would run without, none of my sponsors, I would run their stuff without being sponsored by them. I ran a Vortex scope before I got sponsored by them. Mm-hmm. And so I've just been truly blessed in that aspect.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so the training helped you get to one level, and then get the right gear.
Yeah,
helped you get farther
for sure.
Yeah, so it is like a a big mess of web that you got to have everything put together to put together a good match.
3-gun's always I feel like I'm always tinkering with something, some aspect of the game. It's as soon as you stop worrying about one part of the game, then another part falls, and it's this big pyramid, and all the legs need you need each leg to stand up straight. Pyramid? Yeah. Well, you know what? Okay, it's like a tripod.
There you go.
Yeah, tripod. And if one of the legs falls out, you know what?
So what are you tinkering with now?
The pistol right now. I'm having a few pistol issues. I got a new pistol, and we actually drove up to the pistol manufacturer, and it's being currently fixed, hopefully, I think. And trying to get that worked out right now. But I'm back to shooting my old pistol for possibly the Vortex Shooter Source. I'm not sure, depending on how long it's going to take. But
yeah, it's only a week and a half away.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'd probably shoot that old pistol. All right. Don't want to jinx you.
No. But I also have been known to just get things and just go in the match.
Yeah, me too. Never works out well.
No. But it's fun.
Yeah, it's true.
3-gun's fun.
I got to tell you, the one time that actually worked out was last weekend, I guess, the Kalash Bash. So Thursday before the match, I pulled the trigger out.
Sorry.
And it's okay. My Galil is a 5.56.
Yeah.
And I got an ALG trigger from them many, many months ago, but it was for a 7.62 by 39. And when I looked on their site, I'm like, oh, they must have gave me the wrong part number or something. I realized they don't make one for the 5.56. It's only the 7.62 by 39. So our buddy Ruben modified one to fit in the 5.56. I was like, oh.
I see what you did.
Yeah, yeah, and then I waited many months until like 2 days before the match and finally put it in there and went and re-zeroed during walkthrough, and it actually worked. Didn't go crazy or anything. I
had a big one of those last year. It was right before the Fort Benning match. So I went to the range with Garrison and Aaron and Steven, and we're all at Copperhead Creek, and we're shooting. Well, I don't know if you were there or not. And I'm shooting my shotgun, and I'm like literally like 6 rounds into this practice session. Like I quad load, come up, and I pull the trigger, and you hear a like cling, and then I look down, and there's shells and a spring, and the cap on my monotube had broke. Like it snapped off and like flew down range.
Oh, no kidding.
And so I was like, oh crap, that's not good. I leave for Fort Benning in 2 days. And so I was like, uh-oh. So then I messaged Mark, and I was like, hey, like this happened, blah, blah, blah. And so he overnighted a monotube to me, but I'm not sure if it was like too like late in the day or something like that, but I didn't know if we were going to get the monotube in time because we were leaving for Fort Benning like the next day or the day after. And so we went up to Aaron's shop, and we basically like made a monotube in a roundabout way, like because like I had a complete RCI, so you can't just put like a normal M2 tube on there. So we took like a piece to thread into the receiver, and we ended up having to cut the threads on it, and then we screwed that in. So then we had to make another piece to screw into that, and we're like cutting the threads on things, and we're like trying to jam it together. Well, then we screw the mag tube on, and there's like this gap in between, so you load shells and they don't come out, and it's like, geez. So we're just like sitting there. We make like a bevel in it so that the shells slide past it, and it was all janky. Like it like we made it work, but it was after a few hours. Like I almost missed like my NHS like introduction that night because we were like sitting there with this shotgun. I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow. Like we have to stay and do this. Like I don't have a shotgun, and so
did you shoot that shotgun in the match?
I'm getting to that. So
okay.
So we're like screwing this monotube on, and it's really touch and go. Like sometimes the shells will come out, sometimes it won't. So we finally get it close to running 100% of the time. So I was like, let's do this. And so throw it in the and then I forgot that same day I decided because I was gonna go test fire the shotgun that day. So I decided I wanted to turn the muzzle brake on my rifle a little bit, so that because when I was pulling the trigger, the way I hold the rifle is like a little bit weird or something, so it was recoiling to the right. So I was like, I'm just gonna turn my comp so it throws the gas a different way, comes back straight. Well, it was blended on with JP, and I had put a lot of rounds, so it was like it was stuck to the barrel. So I put it in the vise. I put like the little pads on both sides of the vise. I heat up the muzzle brake, and I put it on a wrench, or I put a screwdriver through it, and I go to turn it. Well, let me tell you something. I didn't use an AR block. So when I went to turn it, the whole rifle proceeds to jump out of the vise, flip in the air, and land on the on the Spitfire hat. So I picked it up, and like the whole front edge is caved in on the Spitfire because like it dropped straight on the Spitfire, and I was like, oh no, this is not good.
Now you have two guns down.
So now I have a shotgun that is touch and go, and this rifle doesn't have an optic on it. And so Aaron's like, you're killing me, man. He's like, I'm doing everything I can do. And so I call my dad, and I'm like, hey, I have another Spitfire on my SBR. Can you grab that one and bring it up here? And so then he's like, yeah, sure. So 30 minutes go by. I get another call from him. I can't find my keys. And so I reach in my jacket pocket.
Oh, my God.
I had his keys.
Your dad's. Why do you have your dad's keys?
I had gotten in his bed for something. He locked his bed, and I put the keys back in my jacket pocket. And I was like, "You got to use your backup keys. Like, I have your keys." And he was like, "Ah." So he finally gets up there. Like I'm still have that like introduction later that night. So like we're crunched for time. Like my mom's flipping out, and so he comes up there. We mount the scope, and we end up. Because we got the shotguns kind of working, and then we mounted the scope, so I was just going to go out and zero the range, or zero the rifle at the range, and we're like, we don't have time. So we were leaving the next day to go to the match, so the monotube happened to show up in the mail right before we left. So I was like, should I put it on, or should I just leave this janky one on? Like, we've already, like, screwed this thing. Like, like, Aaron worked some magic on that shotgun to get it working. So I was like, I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Hopefully it'll work. So we zeroed the rifle. We stopped because to get to Fort Benning, we went up to ETTS, which is about 2 hours north, and we zeroed at ETTS on the way to Fort Benning. So I had like no practice through this because I was going to practice that day with the Spitfire for the first time, shooting limited. And so this is my first match in limited. Like
you're kidding.
Yeah, like I have not shot limited before. And so I put that scope on, and I was going to go practice that day. A lot of things went wrong. So I'm on my way to Fort Benning. I zero at the range. We go to the long range. I put some rounds down range. I'm like, all right, I know where I hit at 3 and 4. Hopefully this works. And so we proceed to go to Fort Benning, and I shot Fort. That was my first match in limited, and we zeroed on the way, and I had a shotgun that worked. And Aaron was like, listen, if you win limited, I want you to get up there, take the mic, and thank God in your gunsmith, because this shotgun is a piece of work. And so I ended up I won that one, and I went over to Aaron and I was like, well, I won. Shotgun malfunctioned on a few stages, but I won. And he's like, I'm not sure you should thank me or hate me for but it was pretty funny. He took a lot of time out of his day to make sure all my guns were working, so I was like, thanks for that.
Wow.
It was crazy.
That is an epic story.
It was wild.
And it was a close win too, right?
Yeah, it was like the closest win I've ever been a part. That was like we were talking before the show. I was trying to tell you, and then you were like, "No, save it for the show. Save it for the show." But that was the first time I ever got nervous before shooting. We were coming in the last day. So we shot the first day of the match, and he was ahead by quite a bit. And then the second day, I started to win stages as we were going, and I was like, wow, I might actually have a shot at this. And so it was a really close race. I think I might have been leading after the second day. I'm not sure. So we're coming in the third day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had a lead after the second day. So we come in the third day, shoot a stage. I think I got him on that one because of a no-shoot possibly, and then he got me on the next one, and he got me on the next one. And I was trying to do the math in my head, and my dad was doing the math, and he knew, but he wouldn't tell me because he was like, just focus on shooting. And I'm like, no, I want to do the math. And so then I'm trying to do math, but everybody knows I'm bad at math. So I'm trying to figure out who's ahead and what I need to do on this last stage.
Let's back up for a minute here. You still have an opportunity to be good at math. Like, I'm done.
No,
that ship has sailed.
Excuse me. But maybe. I think that ship sailed for me too. But God invented TI-84s for a reason, right?
Well, and you know what cracks me up? So sorry, pause your story real quick here. But when I was taking math and we had the TI-84, 87, whatever.
Yeah.
Our professor or teacher would say, now you need to know this because you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket every day. Like, guess what I got? Yeah. I got a calculator in my pocket.
We were never allowed to use our calculators on the test. We could use them on homework and stuff. And I'm like, why? I'm always going to have a calculator in my life.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't I learn how to use a calculator?
I guess I should say my story was pre-cell phone. They had not really been ubiquitous.
I didn't.
We had the Zach Morris phones. Or like bankers had the Zach Morris phones.
Is that like a bag phone? Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it's like the big, huge.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah. I related to one of them.
Finally,
I couldn't figure out what's the camera where you wind it?
Oh yeah, the one. Yeah, it's a film camera.
Yeah. I didn't know what that was. Apparently, I was like, remember?
By the way, Riley's 19.
18.
Riley's 18.
So I'm trying to.
That's why he doesn't get everything.
I'm trying to stay young as long as possible. Don't be putting that 19 on me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, so back to your story. So your dad wouldn't tell you the math. You were trying to do the math, but you're bad at math.
Yeah, I'm bad at math. So we're coming into the last stage, and I figured I was pretty sure I had a lead, and I was like, I I don't know what's going on. I'm pretty sure I have the lead. And I was super nervous because I knew it was close. And so I was really nervous. And I had been I'm pretty sure I had been following him during the match. Like, he shot first in the order, like, above me, and then I shot. But I think I was first on that stage before, so then No, let me back that up. He was first, and then he dropped down below me, I think. And so then I was ahead of him, so I had to shoot first. And so I step up to the line, and I remember, like, I was so nervous. I was like, oh, God. And so I start shooting, and
you keep saying he and him. Have you said who this is yet?
Nathan Payne. I'm sorry. Yeah. So the close race was between me and Nathan. And so I shoot, and I get done, and I had a few makeups here and there. I'm pretty sure I bobbled a load. And so I finished, and I turned around to my dad, and I said, I left 6 seconds out there. Like, I know I left 6 seconds out there. And so I walked off the stage, and like the camera crew or whatever was there, like following like Daniel Horner and all them around, but like they had left their cameras up, I guess, and they interviewed me for the first time. So I was like kind of mad, but I was like, yeah, I just finished that stage, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like talking to the cameras, but I'm like kind of mad. And so I was like, dang it. Like I think I just lost the match there. So I walk over, I put my guns up, and like at this point, me and Nathan had been like joking, like talking like the whole match and stuff. But like as it starts getting down, it's like we kind of like distanced, and like he's like he's like mentally preparing over there, and I'm mentally preparing over there, and it's like it's getting real. And so I love the guy. Like he's helped me so much, and like he's given me so many pointers.
A good dude.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And so he actually texted me after Texas and Nationals, like see how I did. He was like he's a great guy. Yeah. And so like. The stage before and that stage, like we like distanced, and we're just like mentally preparing, because it's like he wants to crush me and I want to crush him, so it's a game at this point. So I go over, I put my guns back, I'm like thinking about like what I did wrong, how I can like fix it basically. I mean, the match is over, but like where I can pick up time. And I was doing the math in my head. I was like, yeah, 6 seconds I left out there. And so he gets up to the line, doesn't even look nervous, and so he shoots, and he beat me by 4 seconds. And my dad was standing next to me, and I was like, he got 4 of the 6. I don't know if I can hold on. And so then my dad is, like, doing math or something. I don't know. He won't tell me. And so we go back over. I went up right after he shot. Like, we shook hands, and he was like, great match. And I told him, great match. Like, it was, like, as soon as we were done shooting, like, we were back to being best buds again. Like we were talking and joking and hanging out. But during those last 2 stages, it was like we didn't talk. And so we're back at like the truck, packing up everything after the match, and I'm trying to do the math. But I'm telling you, I'm so bad at math, I can't figure it out. And my mom and dad like aren't helping me whatsoever. And so I was like, I don't know why you're doing this. The match is over. Just tell me. And so they wouldn't tell me. So I went over to Aaron. I'm sitting there. I was like, all right, man, help me do the math. And so we're sitting there, and he does the math, and he's like, I think you got him by a point. And I was like, that's too close, man. Like I was sitting on the edge of my seat. And
so a point. It's like we should redo our math here. It's
we redid it. And so then I went over to my parents, and I was like, all right, I think I won by a point. And they're like, yeah, we did the math. I think you won by less than a point. And I was like, holy cow. And so the scores came out, and I got 100% of the match points, and he got it was 99.95 or something like that. And I was like, holy cow, that was close. Yeah, it was crazy. He shot a really good match. I was fortunate enough to shoot a good match also.
Nathan is a hard guy to beat, because like he's like super consistent, and like you said earlier, he's like cool. It doesn't seem like anything really phases him that much.
No, he's been in that spot a lot. He's been fighting for he won every other match last year, I think. So he's been in that number 1 spot before. So the pressure, I don't even think got to him whatsoever. So I was at a disadvantage there, because this is the first race I've ever been in for first. I'm like shaking in my boots. I was like, oh God.
Well, so are you gonna stick with limited? Since then, you've actually had some more success with limited.
Man, so to be honest with you, so the real reason. Because I'm 18 now, senior year, everybody's asking, what are you going to do with your life? What are you doing after high school? Every single person I've talked to, you included, is what are you going to do with your life after school? What are you going to do? And I get so tired of that question. I'm like, I don't know. So some people are like.
You should come up with an answer.
Yeah, and so some people are kicking around,
I'm sorry.
And so, like, last year, probably around, like, Wyoming governor's match, like, some people were like, are you going to, like, try to go on the AMU or something like that? And so I, like, kind of thought about it. I was like, man, I'm not good enough to be on the AMU. And so I started shooting a few more matches, and more people, like, asked me, they're like, are you going to try to, like, be on the AMU? So, like, I kind of kicked around. Like, I was like, man, I want to try to be on the AMU. And so Daniel Horner happened to retire. And so Nate moved to TAC Ops, and I was like, well, that puts up a spot in Limited. Like, if I switch to Limited, maybe it'll, like, show them. Yeah, because
that kind of seems to be the way they run the team, right? There's an open guy. There's a Limited TAC. Yeah. Heavy. Someone will shoot heavy when they go to some big matches.
Yeah, so I was like, man, there's a spot for Limited. Like, this is my senior year. I'm 18. Like, this kind of looks good for me. Like, maybe I should try to shoot Limited. So I happened to decide, all right, I'm going to shoot Limited at Fort Benning the week before I went to Fort Benning, like we talked about. And I was like, man, it'd be good to shoot Limited at their match. Maybe they'll see, like, if I place well. So the whole time I'm going into it, I'm like, man, I'm not going to beat Nathan, but maybe I'll get close and they'll see something. And so that ended up not happening. They hired a guy. That didn't happen. But so I was like, all right, I'm going to just go back to TAC Ops, just figure out something to do with my life. I don't know. And so but then the Texas 3-Gun Championship rolled around, and they posted up their rules for Limited. And I was like, man, I think Limited should be those rules for all the matches. And I was like, nobody's going to listen to me. Like, people already dang. There's so many things I want to say. So like, this is something I'll talk about, like, with the whole junior thing. But, like, people, like, even though I can place well at matches sometimes, like, people don't always listen to your opinion because you're just a kid. Like, right. Like, I have no say, really.
It'll be like that until you're 37.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, people, like, some people, like, so listen, and people are cool and stuff, and, like, we hang out, but, like, ultimately I have no opinion. Like, you're just some dumb kid. So, I was like, well, people aren't going to listen to me if I have an opinion. Like, I just write something on Facebook. Like, everybody and their mom, like, writes something on Facebook, and they're like, this is my opinion. Mm-hmm. So I can't do that. Like, nobody's going to listen to me. So I was like, well, if I shoot the division, then I kind of have something to back me up. Like, like, I don't – if I shot Limited and I liked the rules in Limited and someone came at me from TAC Ops and was like, no, you need to change your rules in Limited, I'd be like, bro, you shoot TAC Ops. Like, stay out of my division. Like,
I can totally understand
Stop trying to change that. So I was like, well, if I shoot the division, then I kind of have a say. So I was like, well, I'm going to shoot the division because I like the rules. I stand behind the rules. So maybe I'll have some sort of clout, like, people listen to me because I shot the division. Right. So I was like, you know what? I'll just stay in Limited. Because I had switched to a Vortex Razor because I'm going to Sweden this year. So I had the Razor and Red Dot on there a few weeks before the match. I was practicing open for Sweden. And so
the Rifle World shoot?
Yeah. And so I took everything off of that, put the Spitfire back on, started practicing for that. Put an 8-round tube on my shotgun. I was like, let's go to work. And so I shot the Texas 3-Gun Championship. I loved the rules there. And I had a blast at that match. That match was a really fun match. And so then the next weekend was USPSA Nationals. But my mom was leaving, like, the day after or the day before, like, with my stuff to go to Nationals so that my stuff would be there because I can't miss that many days of school. I can't drive out that early. So she was just going to fly me out to Nationals and shoot, like, fly out the day before. Like, I couldn't drive out with her. Mm-hmm. So she took all my stuff, so I didn't really have a chance to switch back to TAC. I wanted to shoot TAC there. And so I was like, well, I'll just stick with Limited because that's what's on my gun. Right. So I had enough time to, like, change the tube back because the rules for there weren't the same as Texas. Right. Like, they were TAC with the 1X scope. So I shot Limited there. And then I'm shooting Limited at Vortex Shooter Source only because I want to shoot Limited at Trigun. Like, after Trigun, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be done in Limited. Like, I'm going to start.
So you're going to shoot Limited at Trigun?
So the reason I want to shoot Limited, so, like, I have a reason for 2 matches
Nathan
out of the
Payne again.
That's
coming for you, Payne.
That's the only reason is because I beat him at Fort Benning. It was really close. Like, he put up a really good fight.
Is he not coming to Vortex Shooter Source?
He's not, no. He shot Missouri, and I think Trigun might be his only other match of the year. I'm not sure. He might shoot Fort Benning again, but I wanted to kind of, like, prove to myself, like, I want to beat him. Like, this is gonna sound bad, but like I want to beat him. Like we're cool and all. Like this is like it's we're great friends and like we message each other like all the time. And
it's like having that training partner to push you harder.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Yeah,
it's like I kind of want to prove to myself that it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, because like for years like people were able to go shoot limited and they had no competition.
Yeah,
but now there is competition, so. Like, it's good because, like, competition breeds stronger shooters and stronger.
Absolutely. And the match, it's like his match, so to say. Like, it's in his backyard. It's Trigun, and he performed really well last year. So it's like, I just want to see.
Practice all the stages beforehand.
For sure.
Kidding.
But I just want to see where I stack up. I think Aaron Hayes is going to that match, so the field in limited is going to be tough.
That'll
be
a tough field then.
Yeah, so I just want to see kind of where I stack up at that match, and then right after that, I'm spending like 3 weeks-ish up there, just training for Rifle World Shoot with the Overlands and hopefully Josh and a few other people. And throw the open gear right back on right after Trigun and put some rounds down range with that. But basically, I shot limited for 3 matches, and that was Fort Benning because of like the AMU reason I didn't. Mm-hmm. And then the limited rules at Extreme, or dang it, it's not Extreme.
Magpul.
That was a big no-no. And then
it was Extreme last year. It's Magpul,
yeah.
Texas 3-gun championship.
So I liked the rules there. So then I was kind of forced into shooting it at Nationals, and then Vortex is just in the way of Trigun. So I'm just like leaving it. I'm leaving it on there for Vortex Shooter Source because I don't want to like switch.
3 matches, but you didn't want to swap back and forth.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah. Well, I couldn't for Nationals. I didn't have enough time to even 0. So
it seemed like it worked out at Nationals, though.
Yeah, it worked out okay. I was able to get my first national win.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
I'm pretty happy about it,
You should be happy.
I don't know. I feel like I'm like bragging or something talking about it.
Yeah, they're just facts, man.
You are right.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty exciting to see how well you've been doing this year. I didn't realize it was all because of the dry firing. I wish you had told me that months ago.
It's definitely not all because of the dry firing. Garrison England has helped tremendous amounts since I moved down here. He like kind of took me under his wing, and like we would train. He was busy like helping with the Magpul Texas Championship. Is a lot of words, but he was helping with that match. So during that time, I wasn't able to practice with him. But since I moved down here, we were practicing like every weekend at a few different ranges, and Aaron would hop in when he had some time, and so the Hayes crew has really like taken me under their wing this year, or since I moved down here, and that's helped a lot too because I've been practicing pretty hard with them because it's like you said, someone to compete with at practice.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not just going out by yourself. Be around. Yeah,
especially in the competition arena because they do care a lot about the game and the competition and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to get in the junior shooter thing, but we got a couple people that joined us, and they have a couple questions here. JB Creech says, sorry, got here late. Have you mentioned that Riley won USPSA Multi-Gun Nats Limited Division?
We
just
did. Just discussed
Congratulations.
That. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anything you want to talk about on Multi-Gun Nationals or anything?
Not really. It was definitely different than any match I shot, like the rules and stuff like that.
Have you ever shot a USPSA multi-gun match before?
That was the first USPSA multi-gun match. I've shot like two big USPSA matches, like
just pistol,
yeah, and like a few locals. But that was the first USPSA multi-gun match I shot, and the reason I shot that was because that was the only yes I had on the application to go shoot Rifle World Shoot. I didn't get in the first round because it was like, have you competed in this? Have you competed in this? Have you competed in this? And it was no. And the last question was, are you going to multi-gun nationals this year? And I was like,
yes,
I am. I finally have a yes.
All right. So Brian Reno says, hey, gents, Dave, I only have 8 more episodes and I'm all caught up. Started listening in late February. Shot a USPSA match and a 3-gun match a week later. I'm hooked thanks to 3-Gun Lou and this podcast. Dude, that's since February. Holy crap. It's only April. That's 200 and...
Do you ever stop listening to it? Do you
man.
sleep?
Brian, so just so you know, there's like 50 extra episodes on the Patreon you can listen to. So, wow.
Great job, 3-Gun Lou.
Yeah, good job, 3-Gun Lou. 3-Gun Lou's hooked a lot of people on the podcast.
He does that thing.
I believe he got Scott Green on the listen to the podcast.
He does that thing where you say, tell a friend. He does that.
Yeah. By the way, tell a friend. Oh, the other thing I want to pause real quick here, and then we'll get into our final topic, is I just put out, and if you're watching this live, just put out means I'm doing it right after this, right after this. But at 8 p.m., launched on Facebook a video that I did for the Magpul Texas 3-Gun Championship. Riley got to see it before we started here. What'd you think?
It's a really cool video. I asked him,
dude.
We were watching, I was like, how much work did you put into this? Because it looks very well put together.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. I have not slept in 3 days, so a lot of Monster. I peed orange the other day. I'm like, I may need to cut back on the Monster a little bit. So thanks for that. But yeah, check that out. It'll be up on the YouTube right after we get done with the live here. So if you're listening to this later, just go to the 3-Gun Show's YouTube channel and you'll be able to see it there. I'm pretty proud of it. And I did a lot of filming for the Texas 3-Gun Championship with a lot of the shooters, the people that actually ended up winning, and there's a lot of other good footage in there as well.
Watch till the end. The bloopers are pretty funny.
The bloopers are always the best part, right? If I have my camera set up and you come up and talk to my camera and do funny things in front of it, I own that footage, and I'm going to do something with it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it worked out. All right, so our main topic that I want to talk to you about. So you mentioned Garrison England. So he gave this topic to us, which I thought was really cool. It's a great topic. You just turned 18 a few months ago.
Yes.
And so we like to joke you're not a junior shooter anymore, Riley Kropff.
That's correct.
Right? And you can actually hear cuss words now. So
apparently I don't have to put the earmuffs on when people talk anymore.
So for all intents and purposes, you're an adult. You can go buy firearms. You can buy ammunition.
Well, I can't buy pistol.
You can buy long guns.
I can buy long guns. I can't buy pistol or pistol ammo, which is
right. You can't buy pistol ammo?
Nope, can't buy pistol ammo.
Not even for your PCC, your long gun?
No, I can't do that.
Oh, my goodness.
I was going to go pick up ammo at Bass Pro the other day, and my mom was like, yeah, just pick up some pistol ammo. And I'm like, I can't. And she's like, well, did you ask him? And I was like, no, like the law is the law. And so then she called up there and she's like, can my son pick up pistol ammo? He's 18. And they were like, no, he can't. He has to be 21. I was like, I literally told you that.
Have I ever told you about the 100-mile rule?
No.
The closer you are to someone, the less they believe what you have to say.
That's true.
Yeah, so she'll trust the guy at Cabela's, not you who knows the exact same law.
That's true.
Okay, so, but what we were getting at is you've just come out of navigating the waters of being a junior shooter.
Yes.
So you've been shooting 4 years? 4.5 years?
We already talked about this. I'm bad at math, man.
So you've been shooting almost 4 years. And so 3 of that was for or while you were junior.
Yes.
So what was that experience like, and has it changed yet? Is it any different now?
So probably one of like the biggest things is like my dad. When I had like sponsors and stuff when I was a junior, my dad basically did everything. Like he would like talk to my sponsors and stuff like that, and he was kind of like the in-between person. Liaison. But now, like, if I have to like call a sponsor or something like that, I'm the one like sending emails or calling them, stuff like that. So it's like, gotta be a big boy now. So stuff like that. One of the biggest advice I have for like people that are junior shooters, like getting in the sport, is like don't rush in and like see everyone with the cool race car jerseys and it's like, oh my gosh, I want a bunch of sponsors. It's like, it's a lot of work, like all of the social media and like answering like questions and stuff like that. Like if someone sends me a message like at school, like, hey, like I want to buy a JP rifle, like how do I go about that? And it's like, all right, like let me just send this real quick. Like I'll like try to help him like while I'm in school. And
it's a part-time job.
Yeah, my ag teacher would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Trying to sell a rifle, man. Leave me alone." And so he's like, "All right." Like most of my teachers like know what I do. So if I'm like trying to send an email, it's like whether it's like Ruben at Vortex or trying to talk to Dustin at JP or whatever. Like they understand most of that. A lot of them are cool with like me missing days, but the school itself isn't cool with me missing days, if that makes sense. Like all my teachers are like, yeah, just get your work when you come back, stuff like that. But my school is like, no, you can only miss this many days. Mm-hmm. So apparently I'm starting to lose my credits. So I'm going to have to go to Saturday school, even though I have
Are you kidding?
Yeah, even though I have like all A's. I'm still going to have to go to Saturday school to start making up my credits that I start missing because I've missed so many days of school. You can only miss
This reminds me of working in the corporate environment.
Yeah.
Where my joke was always like, it doesn't matter what you do, it's ass in seat time. Like it's how long you're there.
Yeah. It's like, I guess if I had straight C's and I showed up there for every day that I was supposed to, it would be better than me making A's and missing more days for shooting. And it's like,
do you have an A in math?
I don't have a math class this year, to be honest with you. I took geometry in 8th grade, so I was already a year ahead, and so I finished all 4 maths my junior year. So then this year I don't have a math.
Dude, Tyler Wilson says, I've been in a camera view this entire time with the volume off. Can't wait to listen later. So, hi, Tyler. We'll wave it. Hi, Tyler.
What's up, Tyler?
And, can't wait for you to listen later, too.
Yeah, but back to
So don't run out and get a race car jersey. So I'll pile onto that one for a minute. I think that I see a lot of juniors out there on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that where their parents are posting as them.
That's
like in their voice. It's creepy.
Dude, super weird.
It's so creepy.
From the beginning, my parents actually have access to my Facebook page. Like they have the login, and my mom will actually, when I make a post, for some reason on her phone, when I tag like 2 of my sponsors, her phone is the only one that can change it to the @ because like if I post from Instagram to Facebook, she's the only one that can change the @ so she goes in there and does that. But they've never made posts for me. They'll tell me when I mess up, like when I make like a grammatical error, they'll be like, hey, you're dumb, don't look it up.
But I think that also adds like a little bit of character to it and shows like, oh, this is Riley.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
You know? But so along those lines, like when you see like a 10-year-old junior female shooter and the tone is of like a 40-year-old man,
it's
like,
so weird.
It's off-putting. Like you can tell that's happening. But that was like a little sidetrack. What I was going to say was the tendency is like, let's run out and get all these sponsors and then we'll get them to go shoot their first match. And that's like way backwards.
Yeah, no, like I think people have been on the show like before with the same analogy, but it's literally like the golf analogy that everybody brings up. You don't call Titleist or some big name golf company is like, hey, I need a bunch of clubs because I'm gonna go golf my first match. Is it a golf match? I don't golf, so I don't know.
Golf,
but
sounds like a match.
Yeah. But you don't call up some big name company and it's like, hey, I want to go golf for the first time. Like, but so why would you do that in shooting?
I see it a lot with adults, right? Just because most of the people are adults. But with juniors, they seem to get a lot of traction with that.
Yeah, they see it like you're definitely marketable as a junior. I mean, like everybody like jokes like juniors and females are like the most marketable, but like there's definitely truth to that. Like people want to sponsor juniors because I mean. They're not. It's something different. They also feel like they're like helping the sport in a way. Like you're giving back to juniors. Like it's cool. Like Generation 3 again, what they do is really cool.
Yeah.
And
Two-Way Heritage Junior Camp.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And
well, my joke is always when someone says, look for me on the range or whatever. I'm like, oh, are you going to be the white guy with the beard?
Yeah, right.
That's my joke because. It's ubiquitous. Like dudes with beards is almost everybody out there.
Yeah.
So as a junior, you stand out.
Yeah.
And so
ultimately, companies are going to look and see who's most marketable. Like who is going to flag attention to my company basically and promote my stuff and ultimately generate sales from that.
So what I was getting at with that is you have to see if like your child actually wants to play the game first.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Because I've seen a lot of mostly young ladies that are. Brought out to 3-gun matches, and they are not enjoying it. Like, they're not enjoying the recoil of the shotgun.
Yeah.
They can't hold the rifle
Shotgun's
up.
usually the biggest one.
Yeah. Yeah, but when you see the look on someone's face, like, they're not enjoying this, and they have deadly weapons in their hands.
Right.
Like, why are you putting them through this? Like, go bass fishing or something. Like,
right.
There's plenty of other things out there that you can do. There's softball. There's soccer.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of great things.
No, you definitely have to pay to play, that's for sure. And I mean, I have sponsors that are super generous, but still, it's a huge cost out of my parents' pocket. And so, I mean, you're going to have to pay to play, so I don't see a reason to go out there and just get a bunch of sponsors before you start shooting. Like, dip your toes in.
Well, let's give some other, like, actionable pieces of advice. Like, so someone's looking to get their youngster I've said 2 swear words on the podcast. Let's hopefully juniors aren't listening right now.
Oh, yeah.
But
we want them to listen.
I'll bleep them then.
There we go. Let's do it. Another big thing I see is resetting.
Okay.
So I try to like make a game out of it almost. Like if you see me on the range, like you'll see me like running down a target sometimes, like racing people, and but that's like you should never get caught, like especially as a junior. Like you have this big magnifying glass on you if you're a junior. People always look and they want to point out the way, like don't get me wrong, like everybody in the sport is super great, and well, not everybody. That's the same with everything. But for the most part, most everybody is super great and like super willing to help out and stuff like that. But when you first show up to a match, especially as a junior, you have extra eyes on you because it's like there's a kid with a gun. Mm-hmm. I don't blame him. It's like when I go to a range, even being 18, like a new range or something like that, there's definitely a ton of eyes on me. It's like, does this kid know what he's doing with a gun? And it's like, yes, but you still have to be extra safe. Like go the extra mile as a junior to make sure that people aren't pointing out ways to say like, oh, this kid is unsafe or this kid is whatever. Because then you're labeled. Like as soon as you're labeled, like there's no way of getting around it. This sport's so small, like the names, you're going to get out. So I try to always reset. Like sometimes I'll be slacking, my dad will come over and like hit me or like whisper in my ear. He's like, if you don't reset, I'm going to catch you after the match. Or like just like threaten me or something. And it's like, oh shoot. Like I get caught talking sometimes. I'm definitely the squirrel person.
Yeah, I do too.
But yeah, like always try to reset. Don't be the person where it's like, oh, that kid doesn't reset. Like he's just whatever. His parents reset for him.
Ooh,
so
that's the worst.
That bugs me is when like parents are like, oh, like you're having a great match or something like that. Like I'll reset for you. You just sit here and chill out. And it's like, it's not how this works. Yeah, it's not how any of this works.
There's several things to that. Like I don't have kids, but I have a dog. and he does what you reward, right?
Yeah.
So if you reward good behavior, like resetting and being and like participating, he's going to learn that that's what we do.
Yeah.
Is reset. But when you're having a good match and your reward is sitting down, mom's going to get it.
Yeah.
Like that does not fly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and you're definitely like, I mean, people could look at it as a way of like cheating because like you're not as physically tired as everyone else resetting, so you have an advantage, and as soon as you have an advantage, something that's not like you didn't game the stage and find the best way to shoot it, so cheating in my opinion. But yeah, just always be resetting. Like don't let people find reasons to call you out or say like, oh, this kid's a bad kid for this reason. Because as soon as you're labeled, they're going to tell somebody else, and that somebody's going to tell, oh, I heard this kid doesn't reset or something like that. And it gets out 10 times worse for your kid because there's not that many kids in the sport. So,
yeah.
You definitely have a magnifying glass on you.
Anything else?
Always do the right thing.
Always do the right thing?
Always do the right thing. For that exact reason.
Do you have any examples of that?
So there was. This is gonna sound like I'm bragging on myself, but I promise I'm not bragging on myself. This is just an example. So we shot Trigun last year. This was actually the first time I met Nathan Payne. I shot in his squad, and a lot of the boys from Minnesota, and Dakota. She's not a boy. But so I shot on their squad.
You say crew.
Yeah, there you go.
A lot of the crew
from Minnesota shot with them. And so there was a stage where we had a lunch break in between. And then so we were walking the stage all the lunch. The ROs were on lunch. And so we're walking the stage and trying to figure out the best way to shoot it. You have to go and like make a U and come back to the end of the stage. So we get a plan, change the plan obviously because that's what everybody does, change their plan 10 times. And I was finally like, all right, this is the plan I'm going to stick with. And so there's a port you shoot. There's like a second to last port, and then you have to go to the last port for one more paper target. It's an open paper target, like almost a 180 with the bay. Like it's super open, really close, easy target. So I shoot the stage, I get done, I'm like, man, like that felt good. And so I put my mag pouch in, I rack out the round, I unload and show clear like a GM, even though I may be like a B-class shooter. Always. And so
I actually practice that.
Really?
I have dummy rounds.
Nice. I dig it. And so I get done, and I walk off and put my guns up and everything. And then I look over and I see a few people standing at this one target, this last target. And it had 2 holes in it. But they're like, you didn't shoot at this target. Like, it got taped. And so the scorer wasn't over there. And I was like, as soon as I saw the target, I was like, dang it, I didn't shoot at that target. Like, I knew. Like, I didn't go to that last port and shoot that target.
Right. And
so I walked over, and there's 2 holes in it. And so, like, a few of the people standing there, like, they kind of do that thing where it's like, and then like walk away because it's like there's 2 holes. Like, no one's gonna,
hopefully you make the right decision because I'm not going to be a blue falcon. I'm going to go over here.
And so Nathan Payne was one of those guys. He like walked away, and I went over, and the score was like, all right, you had a clean stage, blah blah blah. And I was like, no, I didn't shoot at that target. It's an FTE. And she was like, there's 2 holes in it, and I was like, no, I didn't shoot at it. It didn't get pasted last time. And she was like, oh, okay. So she went in and she changed the score and gave me an FTE. And I wasn't having a great match. I'd like to think that even if I was having a great match, I'd do the same thing. But it's kind of hard to tell unless you're actually in that situation.
I'm not going to say anything because I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah, and so I told her, and I went back down, sat down. I was like, dang it, like kind of mad that I got that FTE. And I put my guns away, and Nathan comes over. And Nathan was like, he's the kind of guy, like, he's not going to, like, go out and, like, strike up, like, a big, long conversation. Like, he's, like, he doesn't talk that much to you unless he, like, really knows you. And so he come up. He hadn't said much to me the whole match. That was the first time I met him. And he came up, and he's like, man, that's really cool. Like, he was like, that's really a good thing to do. Like, I really like to see that. And he was like, gave me this, like, speech almost and, like, shook my hand. And I was like, oh, shucks. Like, Nathan Payne just kind of, like, accepted me. And I was like, oh, I feel so special. And Dakota came over, and she was like, what did he tell you? I was like, he kind of, like, gave me props almost. And I was like, that was really cool. Like, I look up to Nathan, and she was like, he's like, he doesn't, like, really talk to you unless, like, you're, like a really good guy. And so I was like, man, that's, like, really, that's cool.
Yeah,
and so
demonstrated value.
Yeah, and so Nathan's a guy of, like, character. Like, like, if you don't have good character, he's...
Well, and I think that illustrates another good point is, like, when you do see the good behavior in a junior shooter, you need to reinforce that. Like,
absolutely.
say, hey,
like,
good job resetting, nice stage, way to be honest,
Yeah, and
just like my dog.
And another thing is, like, a lot of people are going to, like, share their gear with you and stuff like that. Like, I didn't have caddies for the longest time, so someone introduced me, like, Gunner Solutions, and they were one of the first people to sponsor me. Like, they gave me shotgun caddies that I could, like, deuce out of because I couldn't quad load at the time. And so like, there's always, like, people going out of their way to help you. And so it, like, when you get to the point where you can give back, like, do things that, like, and think about ways that you can help other junior shooters. Like, if you see some cool plan and junior shooters, like, walking the stage with you, be like, hey, check out this plan I just saw. Or, like, if you don't have a mag pouch or something that you're not using anymore, like, give it to another junior shooter. Like, try to help them out. Because the more juniors we have in the sport, the better. Because it's the next generation.
Yeah. Yeah, then they grow up and keep shooting.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Teach the family.
All right.
What other advice do you have?
I don't know.
What's the best piece of advice that you've received?
Best piece of advice I've received. That's a tough one. I didn't think about that. Shoot fast and don't suck is definitely up there. It's definitely up there.
Yeah,
I get a text message
like,
from...
Don't screw up.
Yeah, I get a text from Jeff Livingood before every single major match, and he's like, shoot fast and don't suck. And I'm like, I'll try my hardest.
Yeah, no promises, bro.
Yeah, no promises. Oh, Jake Latola has this saying... at the MGM Junior Camp. He taught at the MGM Junior Camp, and I remembered it. I wrote it down.
He taught a pistol class, right?
Yeah, I remembered it. He had like his whole like spreadsheet because you know him, and he's got
the
like
pyramid of performance.
He's got the pyramid of performance. That's it. And so one of his little sayings was, first shot or first round hits beat empty splits, and that's like always stuck with me, like especially with long range shooting.
Yeah.
Like, if you start missing on long range shooting, those seconds start adding up quick.
No shit.
So
yeah, when I was editing that video, I was looking for some video to show like how much long range there was and like what the long range targets looked like, and I realized like even with like super good shooters, it takes up so much time on that timeline that it really stacks up like the video.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the first time it illustrated when I was actually sitting there watching like first place after second place after third place after first place, shoot all the same array. I was thinking like, God dang, like there's a lot of time on the table here when you have to pull that trigger again.
Yeah. For sure.
But it wasn't like reviewing my own footage, because usually it's like, oh yeah, definitely there's a ton of time out there I suck. But it was watching all those people that I had videoed. But yeah, I mean that's a great saying that Jake has, and it's legit.
It's 100% true. Like if you hit the first time, it's faster than taking 2 shots. I have another thing to add for like junior shooters. Like if you're gonna get into it, and like this is something you actually want to pursue, like take it serious. Like take the time to dry fire. Like it doesn't have to be hours and hours a day, but like take the time and dry fire and take it like I didn't take like the first 2 years as serious as I wanted to, and I regret that now. Mm-hmm. So if it's something you want to do, like find time to practice it and work towards it and put some effort in. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's Jansen Jones said it on the podcast like a long time ago. Like, you know, hard work pays off. You get what you put in.
Yeah.
And that truly is with really anything in life. But like this game is so much. Like when we'll go to Copperhead and we'll do like a long range session, like I'm so much more confident going to the next match.
Absolutely.
And then you see like your hits and everything. And then when we do like short range pistol days and stuff, then going to the next match, like, oh, these are no problem. Ding, 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 ding. So yeah, you really do. It does pay dividends on all the investment that you put into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Be a good person.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than like seeing like a junior shooter that's just they don't want to be there, they have like a bad attitude about it, or they don't want to reset or something like that. Like I feel like for me, like the thing that makes me most irritated when I shoot matches is when people like don't want to reset. It's like, I just want to just choke you. Like
this
reset.
is the game.
Yeah.
For goodness sake. So
I mean, everybody like messes with like talking for a few shooters or whatever like that. But it's like the people that don't reset the whole match and they think
like go hide behind their truck or something like that. There is a little bit of I don't know, like with resetting, like it can get old and it can get tiring, but it really is part of the game.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You have to do it, and if you don't do it as a junior, you're gonna be ostracized.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we did here was we put out some questions on the Instagram. Like, hey, anybody have any questions for Riley?
Let's do them.
All right. So the first one is from Lead Farmer 76. Long range or hoser?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Everybody likes to go fast, but I got to say long range. Like I actually was having this conversation with Sky Killian yesterday, and I made the comment, I want to see more matches with like 600-yard targets, and she's like, why? It's a 223. She's like, it's not meant to do that. And I was like, exactly. Isn't it cool doing things that things can't do? Like,
I love Sky's just like frankness.
Yeah, like the peasant thing with the oh gosh. Yeah,
Tech ops is for peasants.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I went and shot that sniper match with Amax.
Yeah.
And we shot out to $1,000.
How was that?
So much fun.
Dude, one of the coolest things.
It was a 308, but
one of the coolest things I've done with my 223 was we went out to Blue Steel Ranch, JP's ranch out in New Mexico, and we actually did it twice. We went after Rocky Mountain last year, and Dave Barnes was like our instructor out there, and he had us shoot 1,000 with our 223s.
Oh, no kidding!
Craziest
thing. Did you even
see it? You can see. I dialed for it, and my I was almost out of clicks to dial.
Oh, really?
I was, but that was holding like 2 berms to the left because of the wind, and you can just faintly hear that ping. Because like we're up in the mountains and the air is super thin. But and then when we came back the second time, dang, what's the instructor's name? I can't think of it right now. Brian Whalen. Yeah, he was the instructor the second time, and I want to say we shot out to 1,000 again. I don't think we did that time, but anyways, that was.
I've heard good things about Brian's classes at JP.
He's a really good instructor.
All right, our next question. Where did all the Southeast Texas 3-gun go?
Southeast Texas 3-gun? Is it not still here?
I don't know.
Where's it at?
Where is Southeast Texas? Isn't that Houston?
That's the Cawthorn Cartridge Club, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's still there.
They still do it.
I believe it's there.
Next one is from Three Gun Finner, and he says, pink rifle, pink JP for the next rifle, too bold.
Man.
This is a boy, by the way. This is Tyler. But he does wear a lot of pink shirts. I said go for it, man.
Go for it. Absolutely.
We'll match the Lulu. Okay, so next.
Wait, you talking about Lululemon?
Yeah.
Dude, don't be bashing Lululemon,
I didn't bash the Lulu.
I love Lululemon.
I don't doubt that. All right,
They're
so
super
here
comfortable.
is this is Three Gun Beth. She says, do you prefer tac ops or limited/irons? You've been killing limited.
I appreciate it, but I definitely prefer tac ops. Yeah, I prefer tac ops. It's fun. It's what I started in, and I definitely want to go back.
All right, good to know. Okay, so the next one is from. By the way, I only know how to do this because you told me.
What did I tell you to do?
How to find the answers on.
Oh yeah,
to
you
the questions.
You just slide out.
Yeah, you told me that a long time ago. All right, this is from our buddy James Leffler. How do you say my IG username?
Easy. Caricature.
Caricature,
man. It looks like a caricature. Look at it.
It's Car Racer.
Nope, caricature. Even my dad said it was caricature. My mom came in and I said something, and my mom was like, how do you say his Instagram name? And I was like, caricature. And she was like, no, it's Car Racer.
It's Car Racer.
And my dad walked in and he goes, no, it's caricature. And I was like, thank you. Someone else thinks it too. Might be like genetics or something.
I was about to say something about the eyesight. Your eyesight sucks.
But it's corrected.
Corrected
vision.
Is it?
See, Dakota always tries to get on me because my vision is horrible, but it's corrected to 20/20. Thank you.
All right, this one is from Chad Swartout. He says, thinking about the AMU. You'll have to listen to the podcast to find out.
Gotta listen.
That was a good teaser. Next one is from.
You get more responses than I ever get.
They're just interested in you.
Oh shucks. Well, then how come I never get responses? You know what? Next time, I'm going to put up a question thing here within the next few days or something, and I want y'all to ask me questions because nobody ever asks me questions, and I feel sad.
There you go. This one's from Lefty Nation, and you would mispronounce his IG. It says, I'm just used to standing and shooting. How do I transition to moving and shooting?
Move and shoot. I feel like is that not?
It's pretty legit.
Is there a better answer, Dave?
That's the Jocko Willink podcast. Like it's like people ask me, how do I wake up early? Wake up early.
Yeah, I mean, is there honestly though? Honestly, though, is there a better answer?
Quit eating sugar.
No, like I really don't know a better answer other than just moving.
Practice?
Yeah, just start moving and shooting.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger while you're moving. Like, okay, so I actually went to the range last week. I just posted a video today of I'm trying to work on moving and shooting my rifle better. And you should have seen me when I started. It looked like a bunny rabbit, like tripping over itself. It was bad. Yeah. And I got a little bit better towards the end of the practice session, but that's what I've been working on lately is moving with the rifle and shooting.
Nice. All right. So before we ask this one, after the podcast, I have some training ideas.
Let's do it.
We won't tell them though.
Why can't we tell them?
Because it's a surprise. All right. This one's from MN 3-gunner Michael O'Brien.
Michael. I talked to him at Nationals. His kid's really cool.
He says, how much time per week do you plan to work with your open rifle? See you in Sweden.
Yeah, I'll see you there. So right now, it's not even set up for open, so 0 for open, but I'm still dry firing. You know you can hold it down and it keeps going, right?
Not on the questions.
For real?
You only get 15 seconds on the questions.
I didn't know that.
But you can answer the rest of it right now.
I'll tell him to listen to this. But, so right now I'm working on just a bunch of different little things. I'm talking to people that competed in the last World Shoot. Timu obviously got first, so I don't think I've reached out to Timu yet, or maybe I have. Kim, I never know how to say his name. Lepinen, that's right. Kim's really cool. I've asked him some questions, and Vigard Fredrickson. I forgot what country he shoots for, but anyways, I've been practicing like table starts, reloads from the belt. I think a lot of it's going to be having to put rounds down range because big part of this match is going to be alphas. Like, if you look at the hit factor, so I was talking to Max Leograndis at the Noveski Rifle Series match. We shot on his squad, and you know how bad I am at mathing. He was helping me math, and he was showing me, like, hit factor and stuff like that for IPSC style shooting, and he was like, basically, like, to dumb it down for you, because he saw how bad at math I was. He was like, if the hit factor is
drawing circles in the ground.
Basically, it was getting close. It was touch and go there for a minute. Like, he had to teach my mom so that my mom could dumb it down for me. I kid you not. She's out there with the calculator, like she's walking up the targets, like, all right, 2 alpha.
They say if you teach a mother, you teach a village.
I don't doubt that.
That's the thing.
But yeah, so he was like, basically, the way to dumb it down is if the hit factor is over 8, you can go fast, and basically alpha charlies are acceptable. Like, you can go fast and try to burn it down. Like, pull the trigger as fast as you can on those paper targets. But if the hit factor is under 8, it's either 8 or 6. Wow. Yeah. So basically, if you're at 7, this goes out the window, okay? So listen. So it's either 8 or 6. Talk to Max. Send him a message. He's really cool. He'll respond really fast. And by the way, he's really cool. I need to give him a shout out to him because I've sent him so many messages after this match asking questions, and he's responded with like paragraphs, like helping me out.
Yeah, he's a really smart dude.
Yeah, he's Maximundi on Instagram. Y'all should check him out. But anyways, if you're under, I think it's 8, then you need to slow down and like you have time to make up your alphas. So I basically went back and looked at the last world shoot for Timu because he won, and so I basically looked at his hit factor on all the stages, and I think he had one stage that was maybe a 5. And the rest were like 2s and 3s hit factor. So I was like, whew, you're gonna have to.
Everything is gonna be alphas. Then.
Oh, you're gonna have to.
Well, and so they shoot the IPSC targets, right? And that thing always jacks with me. Like anytime I see one of those on a stage, I have to go over and look like where is the A zone because I never have it in my head.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a lot of alphas, I believe.
I can't see that. We got one miniature size behind us on the.
They should be able to see it. Maybe. Anyways, it's at a different range this year than the world shoot was last year.
Was France last year?
Russia. It wasn't last year. It was the year before, I think. Right?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's every 3 years. Is that right?
I was living in a trailer, so 2 years. Yeah, I think it was in Russia, but it's at a different range this year. So we're gonna see how it goes. I think you're gonna have to definitely shoot alphas this match to be near the top. So I think to answer your question, Michael, I'm going to be trying to shoot a lot of alphas when I go to the range. Try not to get any Charlies or Deltas. I mean, aim. Work on mag changes a little bit. I don't think there's going to be, hopefully not a lot of unloaded starts with the bolt closed. If there's unloaded starts, hopefully the bolt's locked back. I've talked to some people, and that's what they said last year or whenever. The last one was like, just working on some weird stuff.
Do you have problems seeing the mag or something?
No, I don't mind it. I just, I actually kind of like going from bolt forward, but just talking to people, they said that like if you started unloaded, the bolt was locked back to the rear. So that's what I had been working on putting the mag in and racking it, but I guess now I'll be working on the bolt locked back, table starts, stuff like that, just some quirky type stuff, port arms with the buttstock at belt, just some different stuff like that. Coming up, first round, like mounting the gun, first round on target, trying to cut that time down. Ooh, lots of bipod stuff, forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
I just got a kneeling bipod in, going to start playing with that, try to figure it out.
So funky.
I know. Yeah.
Cool.
The quick release on the QD as I'm coming out of position, it's going to be weird.
And you just dump the bipod?
I guess. I mean, they have, it's like if I'm taking off from position, yeah, you just hit the QD on it and you just take off out of the position. You can just leave the bipod there.
Really?
I guess.
That's weird because like most 3-gun rules, like you got to take everything with you everywhere you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because some stages you run 2 bipods on your gun. You'll start with a kneeling bipod and then go to a prone bipod. So you'll start maybe even start offhand and then you'll go down to kneeling, shoot some targets kneeling, ditch your bipod, and then go and maybe you have like prone at the end. So I have like 2 pick rails on my gun for 2 different bipods.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. We're gonna see. I need to start training for it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I think Joe Farewell is going to come up and do like a tune-up for the Vortex Shooter Source at ETTS. So I'm going to try to sneak up there Tuesday after school because, this whole school isn't letting me play my game. So they're kind of working against me here. So I'm going to drive up after school Tuesday, hopefully get in some work, and then drive back down Tuesday so I can go to school Wednesday. And then come up for the Vortex Shooter Source again Thursday after school. Walk the stages. Yeah, that's another. I forgot to mention that for junior shooters is dealing with school. It's difficult. Trying to get out for matches. You kind of find yourself not being able to There's some matches that I'd like to RO and stuff like that, but you can't. It's harder to RO major matches.
A 5-day commitment at that point.
Yeah, because you have to miss twice as much school.
Yeah.
And apparently I'm only allowed to miss 4 A days and 4 B days. So those burn up pretty quick. And yeah.
You got plans to RO when you're out of school then?
Hopefully.
A couple months coming up.
Yeah, I do. I try to RO local matches as much as I can, stuff like that. But I definitely want to RO majors, but it's kind of hard right now. I think I'm going to go to college at TSTC, which is local here to Austin.
What is that?
Texas State Technical College. So
where's that at?
It's off 130.
Well, everything's off 130.
No, 130 is the toll road. 35 is the one you're thinking of.
Okay.
It's over on the east side of my house on that toll road. Yeah, I'm going to do – there's a program. There's 3 different welding programs, and one is a welding program with a welding certificate, and then your associate's degree. So I think that's what I'm going to do and start getting into welding. I'd like to get into TIG welding more. I do a lot of MIG and stick. I MIG up at the state. I work for my dad up at the ballpark right now, and I do all their welding stuff up there. And it's something that I think I want to do.
Cool stuff up there.
Yeah, and I want to get more into TIG welding. It's something that I'm not really familiar with, so I'm hoping to learn a lot there about TIG. And then, because when you weld on gun parts, it's all TIG. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'll get in with a gun shop or something. Start maybe gunsmithing, working on guns, something like that. Get into the gun industry somehow. I don't know.
I gotcha.
But yeah.
All right. Well, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We sure have.
Anything else we want to talk about? Anything you want to be sure to tell the audience before we go? Got a final thought?
I love you, Mom and Dad. Thank you for everything you do. I love 3-gun.
And we want you to love 3-gun too.
There you go.
All right, Riley, this has been a ton of fun, man. Thank you so much for coming down here.
Thanks for having me.
And being on the show. This has been a long time coming. We've been talking about it for a while, so it's good to do it.
Have.
Let's get to the range more.
Funny thing, if you see me on the range, ask me about the time that the cop played with my guns on the side of the road. That's a good story. That's a good story.
It's a scary story.
Yeah, it's a good story. You should ask me about it.
It's one of those you just waiting for the other shoe to drop on that story.
Yeah, you should ask me about it.
Yeah, it's a good story. All right, thank you, everybody, for being a part of the show here. Thanks to all the people that ask questions on Instagram, YouTubes, and all that good stuff. And everybody have a great night. Thank you.
Thanks.
If you are finished, unload, show clear.